Hey everyone, welcome back to the next SmartSuite showcase. If you're new here, I'm your host, Nate Montgomery, and this series shares the ways customers are using our platform. In today's episode, we're taking a look at how product teams use SmartSuite to collect feedback, manage and organize it, and then act on it. SmartSuite is a great tool for product teams because it allows them to centralize customer feedback from multiple sources and then link that information to things like the customer or project to inform your product development team on what to prioritize based on the trends you are seeing. If you find the solution I'm using today interesting and you want to check it out for yourself, you can copy the template with the link in the description, or you can download this from the solution template library. Let's dive right in. Before I dive into the grid views and the actual data, start off by talking a little bit about how product teams would use this solution. First off, they'll collect information from different sources into the feedback app. They'll then analyze that feedback to understand the trends that are happening from their customers. Inside of that feedback app, we can use views and the reporting toolbar, which includes the filtering, sorting, grouping, to visualize it in a way that makes sense, and then connect it to other systems. For example, your registered accounts and your projects to give that feedback more context, which helps your product team know which pieces of feedback you need to prioritize and act on. We'll start here with one type of input source. This is a SmartSuite form. You could bring in data from a third-party app. You can bring in data directly from SmartSuite, but an easy way to funnel information directly into SmartSuite, into that source of truth for your feedback, we can submit this form. Inside this form, we can collect fields such as the name, the email, phone number, the description of the feedback. We have single selects for the type, whether it be a feature request, a bug, or an idea. We have the type of user here. So this form can be used for public or internal feedback collection. We have a smart doc field with rich text capabilities, allowing you to format your feedback. We have files and images field to attach any pictures or screenshots of the product. We have a field that allows you to relate this piece of feedback to a specific feature or project. When that form is submitted, it'll populate a single source of truth record inside of your feedback app, where product managers and other key stakeholders can use this feedback as inspiration in the work they're doing. If I open up a record view, we can see there's general information about this feedback at the top, including a date. We have this default right now to the date of submission. Moving down to this next section, we have a submitter profile, which is grouping together information relating to who submitted this piece of feedback. This also allows us to see the impacted customer that this is tied to. Inside of this linked record called account, we can see that Nate is tied to company XYZ. This is the billing plan they're on. This is the customer ARR, and that they've been a customer since this date. Moving down, we have the actual feedback with a rating field and a recommendation single select, any files and images. Scrolling down, we can contextualize this feedback even more by relating it to a project. Here we can see the status of that project it relates to, who the product manager is, what the timeline is for the project, all within this feedback record. So now that data is inside this feedback app, you can use certain views and filters to be able to visualize the data in a way that makes sense. Jumping to another grid view, we have a feedback by type of user. We have a grouping and a filter. Right now, we're only looking at records that were submitted from that feedback form, but you can easily switch to another input source by clicking on that value. You can easily incorporate this feedback into a process by utilizing the status field and notifying key stakeholders when a status changes from in process to ready for review. If I open this record back up and go to the tasks and follow-up section, you can utilize our checklist where you can create action items that need to happen for this feedback, assign them to people on your team, relate them to a due date. This will show up in the My Work section of the assigned parties workspace. You can also incorporate other key stakeholders into the record by going into the communication center, going to comments, and mentioning relevant parties, leaving a comment, and even assigning it to them, which will also place it in the My Work section of their workspace. Let's say you're looking at a record that represented feedback from an external party, such as a customer, and you wanted to get some more information from them. Going over to the emails feature inside of the communication center, you can draft a new email and pick information from this record. For example, who it's sent to, what the subject is. Once you're happy with your email, when you click send, it sends them an email to which when they reply, it'll show back up right inside the thread. As you can see, when I reply to this email, the response is pulled in, which allows you to keep the conversation right into the context of the feedback and the work you're doing. You can also utilize other views to identify the trends of your feedback, which helps your product team plan out the projects. In this view, we can easily sort by AIR by clicking on the 9-to-1 option for this field. On top of doing that inside of a grid view, you can also utilize a dashboard to visualize your work even further. Inside of this dashboard, we have a feedback count by status to see the ongoing process of everything coming into your feedback app. We have total ARR feedback for this month, the total feedback records from this month in a couple comparison widgets. And then we're tracking some other metrics like this net promoter score inside of a grid view. And then we also have the feedback coming in on a date basis. This dashboard allows you to visualize the impact and the progress the feedback has on your work. Not only can you collect the information from both external and internal parties, you can align it to your work by linking it to a project or an account, and then use a dashboard like this to show how the team is working to meet the needs of your customers. And that is going to wrap up this SmartSuite showcase. Just to recap, SmartSuite is a great tool for product teams because it allows them to centralize feedback from different sources into a single source of truth, allows you to link that data to projects and accounts to give it context and inform the product development team on what to prioritize based on the trends you are seeing from that feedback. If you have requests for a future showcase, feel free to drop that in the comment below, as long as with any questions you may have. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.